What is there to say about how great the 90s were by people who were too pissed to remember? I said, trying out the opening line of a new novel on the barista as I reached the front of the queue. The 90s was like a set of traffic lights permanently on green. It was a time when everything was possible, even if it only felt like that, even if success was only available to the same narrow band of people it always was. You could be young in the 90s. You could be 17 or 18. You could be 19 or even 20 years old. You could hear music. You could read books. You could talk to people in the 90s. You could have friends. No one had a mustache. The barista launched into the 4-minute list of sales questions, hoping today to sell me soccer tickets, a gym membership, a wine subscription, a ball rub. Did I want to sponsor Badger? Before demanding to know my sexual preferences, wanting to photograph and film me, saying what they were so some nerd in the States could fit a spa in his private nuclear bunker. You could keep your sexuality private in the 90s. I replied before he said he couldn't sell me coffee until I told him whether I was straight, gay, or bi. I told him I'd think about it and walked out, heading back down the high street to the pub. Famous 90s comedian Grunt Spasm was the only patron when I walked in, having arrived early to see if anyone would recognize him and want to have sex. Grunt looked disappointed when he saw me. His long anecdotes that recalled various past sexual encounters incredibly boring. Grunt had won the top prize at the Edinburgh Festival in the early 90s, beating the competition, which totaled that year 3 other guys by saying fuck 182 times and talking about shagging. Grunt's favorite trick was to sit opposite you in his bright yellow cowboy boots and bright yellow cowboy hat and start talking about anal sex until you started laughing. I never had, but he was unrelenting, often performing the entirety of his award-winning show adventures in anal sex peppered with expletives. Happily, I was saved by the arrival of 90s rock legend Lyle. Having decided that having his hair matted with sweat and stinking of booze and fags made him sexy, Lyle walked in almost drowning in an oversized coat. The two legends began talking at each other about how great they were, waiting for several of their preferred types of sexual partners to materialize. Happily, they kept their sexual identities private, so they could relive their heyday by shagging.